Hey y'all, so before I get this video started, let me give a quick shout out. These were the first 3 comments in my last video. If you want to be featured in my next video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and come show me some love when I drop a new video. What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka CoachKe, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, it's time to do the October mock budget with me. Sorry, this video was supposed to come out Wednesday and the one on Wednesday on Friday, but I had to go with the footage that I had first. All right. So with this mock budget, I actually have not looked at the numbers in depth. I just looked at all the submissions and only one person gave me exactly what I needed without having to email them back, because people told me like, oh, I get paid every other Friday. Okay, but what date is that every other Friday? Did it start the first Friday, the second Friday? I don't know. So I'm going to go with this person. So let's see. This person says they are a single woman, 56 years old, been working at the same place for over 30 years, and they feel like they live paycheck to paycheck. Pay period every Thursday, and it's $656.66 after taxes a week with no overtime. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is fill all the bills in on this portion. Then we will do the fixed expenses, all of that, fill that out. And after that, we'll do the weekly allocations as well as like pre-planning each paycheck. So let's see, we get $656.66 every Thursday. And yeah, I guess you can start technically this should be in October as well, because if you start your budget here, you have not paid for rent, which means in order to make sure rent is accounted for, you have to also count this the 31st in your October budget. Or you can make this start in November. But I'm pretty sure that you've already paid rent for this month using like, oh, this is my October budget, when really it's not. So your October budget really starts on the 3rd. So yeah, we're gonna do the 31st. Okay, so let's go ahead and write the bills in. So rent is due the 1st of the month, so I'm actually gonna put that here. We have $898.02. Car loan payments are due weekly, and that's $112.02 due on Fridays. I don't think I've ever seen a weekly car note. 4 years to go on that. Cell phone is TELUS, and that's due on October 9th, and that's $73.45. So I'm going to put cell, car, and rent. MasterCard is a minimum payment of $250 due on October 10th. Insurance is due on October 20th, and that's $119.21. I'm not sure if that's car insurance or health insurance, but I'm assuming car. My variable expenses, we'll wait for that part. Medical benefits are paid through my company. If I miss anything, okay, I think that we're good here. Okay, so I'm gonna, I got lotion that I didn't rub all the way in. All right, so let's go ahead and flip here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fill these out based on what we've already put in. So $898.02 is rent. So they didn't let me know of any utilities, and I'm just going to assume that it's because they don't pay utilities. If they do, I'm sorry, the video is not going to be completely accurate, but it's not in here. And somewhere they said they have a shared capital account, so maybe because they're sharing something else, maybe somebody else is paying the utilities. Not really sure. All right, so cell phone we have $73.45. The car insurance is going to be $119.21. The credit card, which I think they said MasterCard, is going to be $250 minimum. The car note, oh, and you guys know what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, no other bills are due until the 6th until the car. So we also are going to have to put the car in here again too. Okay, so car note is going to be $112.02 times 5. And so the car note this month is $560.10, but if I subtract that last week, $448 is kind of normal, to be honest with you. I remember one of my car notes was like $439.60 when I had a brand new Chevy Malibu, so that's kind of honestly normal. Is it a good car note? No, but it's better than that 800 something we seen last month. All right, so let's go ahead and add up the fixed expenses. 250, and then we got 560.10. The fixed expenses for this month is $1,978. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so the income is $656.66 per week, and there's 5 paydays this month. So that means the income is going to be $3283.30. Minus the fixed expense amount, and sorry if you guys couldn't see the very top of that. And my printer is running out of ink, that's why it's pink. It's not typically pink. All right, 1,300. So we have $1,382.52 left over for our variable expenses, as well as extra debt payments and also savings as well. This person feels like they're living paycheck to paycheck, but so far the numbers look decent, and I don't think you're as bad off as you think you are, but let's see. All right, so now let's get into what they said they needed for variable expenses. They have gas, groceries, and bingo. Okay, so gas is $160 per month. Groceries are $100 a month. And bingo is $240 a month. Sometimes I don't always go. It's the only thing I have. I'm not a drinker or a smoker. I do Friday and maybe Sunday for bingo. I only stay for one, win or lose. And then they went on to tell me about, okay, yeah, we don't even have to worry about that. Okay, so this is all we got. So 100 plus 160 plus 240 is $500 for the total budgeted expenses. If we take this divided by what our net income is, divided by 1382.52. So that means we only, and I always say round up to the nearest 10 when you are still in debt. So instead of doing 36%, we're going to do 40%. So of the net income that we have, we need at least 40% of this to cover the $500 in budgeted expenses that we have. So typically I would say, listen, $240 a month is a lot for bingo, but even including that, you're still only using 40% of your leftover money after fixed expenses. So it's really not that bad, to be honest with you. So in order for us to get the true number of the 40% of this amount, we're going to go ahead and multiply that. So that's going to give you about $53 in case you overspend somewhere. Not too bad. Okay, so that means we still have 60% left over. And you guys know me, I like to save while you're still in debt, because otherwise you're going to keep going back into debt. That's just how it is. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use this whole keep 1,000 in your savings, throw everything else at debt, and not have to stop themselves because that $1,000 didn't cover enough and now they're back in debt, or just anything like that. So I just say continue to save. So because we still have 60% left over, I like to do a half split, and it's for a couple of reasons. Number one, I personally don't feel like you should be putting more towards debt than you put in savings, because it's almost like you're covering yourself. Like, oh, I just put 500 towards debt, but because I put 500 towards savings, if anything happens, I've covered myself. It's also a mentality thing, because some people really get bogged out in this long debt freedom journey because they're not saving money at the same time. It's like, man, I've thrown every single thing at debt and I'm still $30,000 in debt. Well, when I got out of debt, I eliminated over, what was it, $26,000 or $27,000 in, I think it was 18 months, and I saved like $17,000 at the same time. So because of that, I was okay throwing all this extra money because I knew I had this amount of money over here just in case I had this huge emergency, because $1,000 don't cover most emergencies, right? So that's just my spiel. I would split this up 30 and 30. So if we take the 1382.52, we subtract this 553 that we needed for our checking, that gives us 829.52 for leftover for savings and debt. And because we did a half split, that means you should be saving $414.76 and also putting $414.76 towards an extra debt payment. I'm not sure if your credit card or the car note is the largest debt, but whichever one you have the smaller balance on, that's what you want to throw towards it. So I'm not gonna fill this part out because I don't know all that information. But let's see how we need to break things down as the money comes in. So first I'm gonna do the pre-plan, and then after, oh man, I needed to print out the Paycheck 5 as well. I probably won't print out the Paycheck 5. I'll just kind of write it on the side because it's really not a whole lot. So I'm going to do the pre-plan first, and then I'm going to do this sheet to say, hey, when we get paid the first week, this is where you want to put your money. The second week, this is what you want to do. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so pay date number 1, and I think I'm going to zoom y'all in now. Just a tad. I don't want to zoom you in too far. Okay, so paycheck 1 is going to be 10/3, and it's $656.66. Then we have 10/10, the same thing. And I'm not really sure why you're living paycheck to paycheck, because to be honest with you, you have a good income compared to what you're usually spending, unless you're spending much more than you think you are. That could be a thing too. Oh, I forgot. I'm like, where is the other one? All right. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring it down here. So we'll just do 1031. Now, as far as your budgeted expenses with groceries, gas, and bingo, I'm just gonna split this up, the total amount, by 5 weeks. Oh, but you know what? You probably gave me your numbers based on 4 weeks. I'm going to still do it this way. No, let's redo this just a tad. So this would amount to $25 a week. So let's go up to 125. This will be 260. This will be 300. All right, y'all. So I'm going to redo these numbers real quick because I didn't think about the fact that they probably did that. All right, so this is going to mean we need 625. 625, 45%. So we actually need 50% for checking. And sorry I didn't use my erasables like I typically do. All right, so 625 divided by, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. 0.5 times 1382.52, because now our checking is 50% instead of 40. What the hell did I just do? 553 divided by 1382.52. So it's still 40%. Now, here's the thing. Because this is so close to 40% and I want you to make sure you have a cushion, I am... Wait, what am I doing? Y'all. Just don't pay attention to me. All right, 691.26. I don't know what I was just doing right now. All right, so that means we're going to change these here to 25 and 25. So if I do the 1382.52 and I subtract the 691.26, this is what I'm left over with. We're going to divide that in half. So it brings us down a little bit, but it's not a whole lot. This is still actually a good snowball amount and a good amount to put towards savings. All right. So let's go ahead and come here. Okay, so on Paycheck 1, the only bills that we have is the car note and the cell phone bill. And oh, we also have to figure out the budget. So the budget has now changed to, it was $625, right? So 625 divided by 5 weeks is 125. So let's do budget. That's going to be 125. All right, so we have the car note is 112.02, and I'm actually going to go ahead and switch to my erasable pen. We also have the cell phone at 73.45. So this week we have the MasterCard. That's $250. We also have the car loan again, 112.02. That's it for this week. Paycheck 3. Yeah, it's looking like you're not as paycheck to paycheck as you thought you were or as you feel like you are. All right, so Paycheck 3 is going to cover the car at 112.02. We also have the insurance, and that is 119.21. So the 25th, we have the car loan again at 112.02. Then this one, we have the car loan again as well, and then we also have rent. So your budget basically, since you get paid on Thursdays, your budget needs to start the first Thursday of every month, essentially. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the calculation, see how much we have left over each week. I'm going to get these papers out of the way. Okay. 656.66 minus the 125. It's 531.66. 419.64. And dang, I should have put the car second again. Could have just kept using the same numbers. 281.66. 169.64. So you don't even have any negative weeks besides the week that you pay your rent. But I'll show you one thing that could actually help. Oh, I'm tripping. Now I can actually, because you have quite a bit of money left over each week. So I'll give you a small tip that I think will help you, because maybe you feel like you're paycheck to paycheck because you're paying that maybe it's when you're paying your rent. Oh, All right, y'all. Sorry, the picture in picture is gonna stop because my camera literally just died, and that means the audio is gonna suck too. I'm sorry. But I want to finish this because I have to go to work or start getting ready for work in like 20 minutes, and I don't feel like waiting for this to charge. Yeah. So maybe it's because you're starting off negative, maybe because of your rent. But I'll show you, like I said, how to fix that. So 419.64 subtract the 898.02. That's gonna leave me at 478.38. So before I get to the weekly allocations page, so here's the thing. You're positive every week except the week that you look. I'm looking up at this camera over here, is if it's even on. You're positive every week except the week that you pay rent. If I were you, what I would do is I would save for my rent every single week. You get paid every week. When you get paid weekly, it makes things so much easier, I promise you. So if I were you, I would switch things around. So 898.02, if we divide that by, I would just do 4 weeks because typically it's a 4-week month. And then what you end up doing is when you have those weeks where it's extra money, now this is what I would do. I would have one specific checking account or savings account, whichever one, really a checking account. It doesn't really matter. But you need to put this money off to the side in its own account. So you really should probably use a savings account. And then when the rent is due, you just transfer it. So every single week you put that money in there, put that money in there. What's going to end up happening is after you do this for a whole year, you're going to always have that one extra rent payment to kind of secure you, because there should be 4 weeks every month that has 5 weeks, or 4 weeks, 4 months every year that has 5 weeks. So in those particular months, you're going to save that extra payment so that by the end of 1 year of doing this, you always have this 898.02 in there, and that's going to continue every single year. So you kind of save yourself. Now, in doing this, some of your weeks, really only 1 week should end up negative, and that's this week right here. And that's just because your MasterCard payment is so high. But you're going to end up making it better because this can happen at the beginning of months, but this one can't. This negative week can't. So let's go ahead and change this around just a little bit. So 224.50. And really, you could just go 51 just to make sure. 51. So rent. Now it's going to make your weeks a little tighter, but you'll feel a lot better. You should never be overdrafting your account, like ever. And so this erasable pen doesn't work well on this type of paper, so I'm just going to do it this way. 224.51. All right, so now let's recalculate some of this. 346.19 minus 224.51. And see, because you're positive here, it's gonna cover you for this negative week right here. But once that MasterCard is gone, you don't have that to worry about anymore. All right, 419.64 minus 224.51. And then down here, oh, it's going to be the same thing. 195.13. So yeah, that looks a whole lot better than if you try to pay your rent all at one time. Okay, so as far as what we have left over each week, and that's not a like minus sign, by the way. And then we got 195.13 again. 121.68 minus 54.87 plus 75.92 plus 195.13, 195.13. That gives me 532.99. All right, so let's do this weekly allocations real quick, and I'll show you how you need to allocate your money as your paychecks are coming in. So your threshold was $1,978, and we have 50, 25, 25. The income every week was, what was it? Oh, $656.66. And this is 10-3, 10-10, 10-17, 10-24, and 10-31. So the first week, you have not earned enough to cover your fixed expenses of $1,900, which means you're going to keep 100% in your checking. So we're not going to put anything extra towards savings or debt just yet. The second week is going to end up being the same thing. I could just look at the numbers and see that's not going to equal out to that. So we're going to, again, do the same thing. Now, you're still going to pay your car loan and all of that stuff on time. It's just you're not making the extra payments yet or putting anything towards savings. So week 3, it's probably going to be the same, actually. No, week 3, you have now earned enough to cover your fixed expenses, and now it's time to start putting a little bit extra off to the side. So this is what you're going to end up doing. So after week 3, you've earned this amount. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah. So if we subtract the $1,900.78, because that's what we had to get to before we start allocating, that means by week 3, you have $69.20 left over in order to put towards savings and debt, right? So now is when we start doing the 50, 25, 25. So this is what we're going to split off, and I'm going to use the back of this paper right here. So for the checking, so that's 69, what is it? 69.20. 50% is going to checking, which is this amount, 25.25. So I'm just going to multiply by half again. So 17.30 is going to go to savings, and then you're going to make an extra debt payment of 17.30. You have two options. You can make this payment right away, or you can put this off into its own savings account, and then once you end week 5, then you just make one large payment. I used to do it right away personally because I don't want to spend the money. This, of course, needs to be sent off right away no matter what. Now, as far as what we're keeping in checking, not only are we keeping that $34.60 that we split off, but we also have to take into account the amount that was left over in order for us to reach the threshold, right? So $69.20 is what we split off, but before that, we have $587.46. Now, if you're not understanding what's happening, $587.46 is what we still had to earn from week 1 and week 2 in order to reach the threshold of $1,900. Once we reach that, we still have $69.20 left over, which is what we split up the 50, 25, 25. So we're going to take this plus that 50% that we split off from here, and we're just going to add that up. And if you're not good at math, it can sound very complicated. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry. Okay, so that means total for week 1 or week 3, what we kept in the checking was $622.06. And to know that you did the math correct, if we add this across, that should give us what the paycheck was for that week, which it does. Cool. So now that we start allocating, once you start allocating once in the month, you're going to allocate for the rest of the month. So we know the rest of the month is going to be our 50, 25, 25 splits. So 656.66. Half is going to be 328.33. Then we're going to do, and actually, oh yeah, that's right. Now, when it's just a penny difference, put that penny towards debt. Don't put the penny in savings. Trust me. So 164.16 is going to go here, and 164.17 is going to go there. 36, yeah. And that's going to be that. So if we add up everything going down, 1, 2 times 2, we're going to add the 622.06, 328.33. We've kept total 2593.04 in our checking, and that should cover our fixed as well as the variable expenses. What was the income? The income was 3283.30. All right, so now when we add up this column, 345.62, 345.64. You are not doing as bad as you think. So that means that even after you play bingo, you can keep that as your recreational thing, especially because, like you said, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do a lot of extracurriculars that some people do and where their money is really going. I would go ahead and keep that. It's fine. You don't really have to make that sacrifice because you are still putting a significant amount towards debt and savings, especially considering this is over 10, this is like maybe 12% of your income. This is another 12% of your income. So I think that you're doing just fine. Right? And you're going to do the same thing even when it's just 4 weeks in the month. Do the same exact thing. The numbers should come out the exact same. You're absolutely fine. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to leave them down below. Please thumbs up this video, subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video.